Hello everybody and welcome to the United Stand. This is your latest Manchester United news and transfer news. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's summer transfer budget revealed. Erling Haaland transfer blow. And also things around Mason Greenwood, Anthony Martial, big game tomorrow. And of course, I just want to say this first of all, actually, we're sponsored by Manscaped. Links in the video description. I need to discuss that. But I also just want to say as well that I watched Manchester City today. I've got no bitterness towards what Manchester City are doing. I just want to explain myself here. I'm frustrated. I support Manchester United. I don't give a shit about Manchester City apart from the fact that it's being rubbed in my nose all the time about how great they are. And I don't really understand how, despite having a load of money, Manchester City in 12 years have gone from being a small club to the biggest club in England in the same city that my club's in. And we're just in the shadow of Manchester City. I think it's ridiculous. I can own that. I think it's absolutely ridiculous how this club has been shat on from a great height by our board and turned from the dominant force in English football to in the shadows of Manchester City, who are a very well-run club despite winning the lottery. But we've just fallen into this situation. And I watched the game today where Alan for Everton and Fernandinho for Manchester City played relatively normal games as a CDM, and I was in awe of them because I was like, our centre defence midfielders can't do this. Shield the back four, drive forward with the ball. I mean, I don't know what this club thinks. I don't know what this club thinks is the level of Manchester United, but it's certainly not the right level for the last 8 years. And I think people need to open their eyes up to it. It's a joke, and it starts at the very top. Anyway, let's kick in. The show is sponsored by Manscaped. Lots to talk about tonight. Transfer budget being the most important thing, of course. But I just want to start off by saying that today's show is sponsored by Manscaped. Manscaped offers precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. They obsess over their technology developments to provide you the best tools for your grooming experience. Manscaped is trusted by over 2 million men worldwide. I've got the product here, in fact. We've all had those close encounters when trying to make our areas below our waist look as handsome as those above them. And that is why the Manscaped engineering team have perfected the greatest ball hair trimmer ever created and just released the new and improved Lawnmower 3.0. So now you can shave your most important possessions with no fear of injury. And as I always say, trim the grass to make your yard look bigger. The Manscaped Razor is a super premium, boasts a 90-minute battery life. Waterproof technology, so you're in the shower. You know, as men, we don't like multitasking. Well, you can have a shower and you can be cracking on with that as well because it's waterproof. You get a charging stand so you can show it off to everyone that uses your guest bathroom. And because Manscaped care about all the nuts that watch this channel, see what I did there? It was a pun on balls. Anyway, because Manscaped cares about all the nuts that watch this channel, they're giving a huge 20% off plus free shipping when you use the code UnitedStand20, all one word, at checkout. Another great thing about Manscaped is whenever you purchase it, whenever a purchase is made, manscaped.com, then contributions is made to the Testicular Cancer Society to bring awareness to testicular cancer, men's health and early cancer detection, which I think we'll agree is all important. So what are you waiting for? Head over to manscaped.com or click the link in the description to get your Manscaped razor today. And it's not just that, you can get one of these as well, as I always show. Felt like that was already up my nose. Very good when you get into a certain age. I'm not going to do it live on air because, but very good quality products. Links in the video description and you can get 20% off with the United Stand. And as I've said before, trim the yard to make the grass look bigger. But let's get on with the show. So, I'm not in a fantastic mood tonight. I'm really not. I think that obviously Manchester City are now in the FA Cup semi-final. They're in the Champions League quarter-final. They're going to win the league. They're in the Carabao Cup final. I can sit here and pontificate about how it doesn't mean as much because there's no fans in the ground. And 100%. Never in a million years does Manchester City winning a quadruple or a treble compared to what we did in '99. Unfortunately, it will eclipse it. Everyone will say it's better. But the reality is that when you've not got fans in the ground, you don't get Ryan Giggs taking his shirt off when you're down to 10 men at Villa Park with a massive crowd there. You don't get having to beat Spurs on the last day of the season at Old Trafford with a massive crowd there whilst Arsenal are playing their game. You don't get the Nou Camp with a massive crowd there, and all the other games we played that season. But the reality is that will be forgotten, because the history books will say Manchester City quadruple or treble 2021 if somebody doesn't stop them. But for all the bitterness there may be about Manchester City's money, and for all the bitterness there might be about they won the lottery, and all the truth that is attached to that, the reality is they are a football team with a very good squad that has got a very good chance of eclipsing our treble or a record. And I put the blame at this not at Manchester City, not at their lottery win, not at the oil. I put this blame at the people who bought this club in 2005 and decided to turn one of the most successful football clubs in history into a business, into a bank. And if Manchester City are to eclipse our treble, we should not be looking at our manager. We should be not looking at our players. We should be looking at our owners and what they have done to this football club. So if you're worried, like I'm worried, if you're feeling a little bit sick inside tonight about what might be about to happen in the next 2 months, in a footballing sense, then I would urge you to put the blame where it needs to belong. It needs to belong to the people who decided buying our football club because it was a brilliant business opportunity to chuck us into a load of debt and make a load of money for their family. They are the people who are to blame for this. And as we walk into another transfer window, the reports are that Manchester United's transfer budget for this transfer window will not exceed £70 million, because it hasn't exceeded £70 million net for the last few years. And we've got to be very cautious because COVID is there. And like a lot of other clubs, we have to be abiding by the fact that this is a very challenging market, and we are not one of those clubs that can just chuck money around like Manchester City and PSG and Chelsea. We are a responsible football club, and we're more comparable to Southampton than we are to Manchester City and PSG and Chelsea. So Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, who needs a centre-back, a centre defence midfielder, a right winger, and apparently thinks he needs a £100 million striker, will get £70 million to spend top this summer unless he generates more money from sales. What the hell are we going to do with £70 million this transfer window if they give him that much? What are we going to do with £70 million? Because we are not going to get a centre-back, a centre defensive midfielder, a right winger, a backup right back and a striker with £70 million. So I think that this is the harsh reality that James Cooper was talking about last night on Sky Sports when he spoke about the sponsorship deal for United and how fans probably shouldn't be getting excited about that because it's a very challenging situation for Manchester United. Match day revenue is a big spinner for those, and they've not had it for a year. There's also no guarantee that next season we will have 75,000 fans at Old Trafford for another season. There may well be restrictions. There may well be a fourth spike. There may well be another season of very few fans in the ground. And Manchester United, being a business and not a football club, has to plan ahead for these sort of things, and therefore there will be a responsible summer because we are a bank. We are not a football club. So forget closing gaps on Manchester City and watch those that are going to jump past us again, just the same as they did 3 years ago. We finished second place with Mourinho, who described it as one of the biggest achievements in his career to finish second place 20-something points behind Manchester City, and then presided over summer where he didn't get backed and he was sacked by Christmas. Expect this again because Manchester United are not intending to spend big. They are not intending to close gaps. They are a responsible football club. They are a business and they have shareholders and owners to pay dividends to. Therefore, we must all, as fans, even though it's our money that makes that football club the asset that it is, you know, there's no oil flowing into our club. This club is big, historically big, and very, 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 very lucrative in relation to revenue every year because of you. Because sponsors want your eyes, because there's so many of you, because so many of you pump money into the club. That money, we've got to be responsible with your money because that money needs to go to the people who own the club. So Manchester United will not be spending big money this summer because we've got to be responsible, you know. We've got to be careful. We can't spend a lot of money because it's been a tough year for everybody and Manchester United cannot spend money because they've got shareholders and owners to be careful about. So I knew this last night. I knew it when James Cooper was talking on Sky Sports about, you know, United, they've got to be, you know, they've lost a lot of money and this, that and the other. you look at certainly the last two transfer windows, our net spend has been about 60 to 70 million pounds. We ain't going above that. So the floor is yours. The floor is yours. What are we going to do with a 60 to 70 million pound transfer budget this summer? Ollie's transfer budget, 70 million pounds, but 20% off with coupon code. There's no value in the market and free shipping. Glazers want to thank you, says Angie S. Well, I don't know what we were expecting, to be honest, Angie. I really don't know what we were expecting. I think that I can see people again today on social media, in news outlets, talking about Manchester United and Erling Haaland, and they're definitely in for him. They're definitely willing to go all in for Erling Haaland. So where are we going to produce 120 million quid from then? Where's this coming from? Where's 120 million pounds coming for Erling Haaland? I think that this is either total bullshit, or they know full well he's not leaving Dortmund anyway, so let's pretend we were in for him. Because where are we getting that money from? And I tell you what, on a personal note, and this is not probably what a lot of you think, if Manchester United went and spent 120 million pounds on Erling Haaland, I'd be appalled. You know, when they're holding his shirt up and going, yeah, and Ollie's there with him and everything, I'd be like, oh my fucking God, help me, please help me. And there's nothing wrong with Erling Haaland. He's a fantastic player. But does anybody watch him at Dortmund storming down the tunnel today because he hasn't got very good players around him? Like, he wants to leave Dortmund potentially because they're shit. They're fifth in a league that they should be comfortably second in. What does he think he's coming to Manchester United to do? Finish first? Like, we've got so many problems in that team, and Erling Haaland will not solve them. He won't. So I don't think we can do this deal. I think it's absolutely impossible. I don't know why we're being linked to it. I mean, even today, they're talking about Erling Haaland wants to go to Real Madrid. And Real Madrid will probably find a way to do the deal. And if they don't, Chelsea will. And if they don't, PSG will. But I don't see how Manchester United are going to do this deal. I think the only thing Man United are probably clinging on to, if they are in the deal, is that Ollie's his bloody mate. And maybe that they can do something around Paul Pogba. That's Ollie gone by Christmas then. What a joke, says Martin B. And get ready, Mark. Time to get used to Ollie saying Mingy and Harry at the back. No CDM, no Sancho. And we're going to be battling for top four. My club is dying, says Gabriel Noel. Delo, Mata, Matic, Lingard and goalkeeper out. Top centre-back and Sancho in. Let Martial and Greenwood play at night. Start using Pogba or Donny in the double pivot, says Just Me. That's if Pogba's still here, mate. I think that the thing I sort of probably learnt after the Sancho debacle is that I always had hope. I really thought that they would get Sancho, and I exposed myself, but Romano was saying that it was nearly done, and a lot of people were saying it was nearly done, and we didn't do it. And I think ever since last summer, where they messed up the Sancho deal, I've just become very, very sceptical about anything that United are going to do. And Paul Robinson said it this morning. One of our moderators said it this morning. When you list down everything United need to do, you already know you're going to be disappointed this summer because the list is too big. The list of what needs to be done is in double figures. When you count up all the deals we need to do out of the club and all the deals we need to do in the club, you go into double figures. Well, you're going to be disappointed. And the reality is, for the last 8 years, we've been disappointed. Even Moyes' first summer, we were disappointed. We were hearing about Fabregas, Toni Kroos, Gareth Bale, and we ended up with a desperation Fellaini signing. That was the first few months after Sir Alex Ferguson retired. Like, literally, this diarrhea started within weeks of Sir Alex Ferguson retiring with a Premier League trophy and everyone applauding off a genius. Within weeks of that, the incompetence started. That first summer was a joke. And pretty much every summer, with a couple of exceptions, has been a joke ever since. So, sorry, I'm sceptical about this summer. And sorry, I would be stunned if they did anything near competent. Because unfortunately, as we always hear from journalists or Manchester United themselves, they have to be responsible. They've got to be careful because it's a very challenging market, and we're bloody Southampton. What is the point of agreeing a new sponsorship deal worth 230 million if Ollie only has 70 million? This board is a complete joke, says Jack Lynch. But there's trouble with the sponsorship deal. It's over 5 years, Jack. I don't know why anybody's excited about a sponsorship deal. It's 40 million a year, 45 million a year, 50 million a year. It's not that, and a lot of that will be going towards different things. Then remember, they had a loan for about 100 million back in, was it last summer? Manchester United is a cash cow to its owners and has been for 15 years. And as I said, whatever we're going to do this summer, and Leo says with 70 million we would only be able to buy a defender and that's it, then that's just another bad transfer window. Well, look, what before I go to what I was going to say, what can you do with 70 million quid? So it's Ben White and perhaps a deadline day retired striker, says Akil. God knows what it's going to be. God knows what it's going to be. I'm sure we'll have a summer of being linked to really good players, but I mean, I've been doing this for 5 years on the United stand, and every summer we've done videos from Koulibaly to Ronaldo, bloody Neymar, Bale. You know, we will be linked to Sol Niguez. We'll be linked with all of them, but we won't get them because I think that the summer is going to be very challenging, as per usual, for as Manchester United fans, and God knows what we're going to end up with. But with £70 million, what are you going to get? What are you going to get? And look, we might get another. I don't know whether that £70 million incorporates the 20 million we'll get for Lingard, or whether we'll get 90 million if we get Lingard out the door. I don't know whether if we sell De Gea or Henderson, we get another 40 million on top. It's a bit like when you play Football Manager. If you sell a player, or FIFA, you sell a player for 40 and then the board goes, we've allocated you 25. Well, where's the 15 gone? So you don't necessarily know that. Well, look, let's be honest. If Man United sell, let's say United sold Henderson for 40, and I'm not saying we will, but if we sold Henderson for 40, I don't think Ollie gets 40. He probably gets 25. So, but what do you do with £70 million? You buy a good centre-back, that's it. You buy a good centre defensive midfielder, that's it. You probably don't even have enough for Sancho. So what do you do with 70 million quid? And it goes back to what I was saying today. I watched Manchester City against Everton, and basically Everton parked the bus and tried to win the game with a smash and grab. I looked at Manchester City and I was just like, oh my God. For the second time in 3 weeks, I was like, oh shit. And it reminds me of the Champions League final last year, because I watched Bayern Munich play PSG. And you know when they flash up the benches of both teams on the same screen? I went, oh my Christ. Look at the bench of those two teams. Like, the first team looks good, but look at the bloody bench. Most of their bench would get in our first team. I was like, oh my God. The quality in depth there. Well, I've done it twice with Man City this month. I've watched them play West Ham and I've watched them play Everton tonight. And they've named 10 subs in both games. And I've gone, oh my God. That Man City starting team against Everton was way better than most teams in the Premier League. They've got 10 people on the bench who would basically walk into most teams in the Premier League. And I'm like, oh my God. And there are United fans out there that think if we buy Erling Haaland, we'll challenge Manchester City. And I'm like, they've got a whole other team on the bench. Their bench today had John Stones, Rodri, De Bruyne, Mahrez, Aguero. Edison was on the bench because they had the reserve goalkeeper on, but they had Mendy on there as well. Just ridiculous depth. Whilst their starting team already has Jesus, Sterling, Foden, Bernardo Silva, Fernandinho, Gundogan. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable level of quality. Unbelievable level of structure and planning. Unbelievable. Unattainable with this structure that we have United. You know, you can rebadge Murta into a director of football. You can bring in an ex-player, Darren Fletcher, and say he's a technical director who's going to talk to new signings and tell him about how great United is. And you can put, you know, people up from the youth team to be a senior coach. You can do all that stuff. But if they haven't got owners who are actually going to give them players, then it's futile. You know, it's a Ferrari with no fuel. It's really fucking depressing. It really is genuinely depressing, because what we're dealing in now is miracles. We're dealing in miracles, because I look at what Manchester City have got, I look at what Chelsea have got now, and I look at what Man United have got, and I just go, no, not in a million years are we anywhere near that. They're just so far ahead, and we can only get level with them if we build. And these owners don't want to build. They're playing at it. Their big thing is to convince you that in the next 3 years we'll be a title-winning side. Do you really believe we will be in 3 years? Do you think that Man City and Chelsea are going to, you know, just pack up their tents and say, you know what, we've had a good time, you can have a go now? Or do you think they're going to go, you know what, we're going to build more and more tents. We're going to get better and better. We're going to sign Erling Haaland. So it's worrying. But look, taking it away from the owners for a moment, let me just say this. As I said at the start of the video, we talk about the problems of Magaluf. But I think Manchester United's biggest problem is McFred. And I think Matic as well falls into that equation. Like Fernandinho, to me, has always been a very good centre defensive midfielder. But the way he, as a centre defensive midfielder, ran the midfield, drove forward with the ball, passed the ball intelligently. Every time he got the ball, he wants to drive forward. And then I watched Alan for Everton, who was playing in a totally different team in a totally different way. And he is sat in front of the back four, you know, picking up the runners, trying to break up the play. When he did break up the play, he'd carry the ball, pass it forward. And I look at our two and I think, oh my God, like we really, really, really are miles off in that area of the pitch in relation to our league position's good. But, God, I just wonder what Man United would be if we dropped two half-decent centre midfielders into our team. Party time at Chelsea Football Club, says Liam Deegan. Don't know what you're on about. And 70 million could let us buy youngsters with potential and make huge profit in the future. For instance, Fofana, Almada, White, Rice, etc. Stratos, what have you been drinking? 70 million will buy you Fofana and Rice and White. Fofana cost Leicester about 35 million 8 months ago. They're not going to sell him for anything less than 80, as we know. Declan Rice is going to cost you all of that 70 million. I don't know what game you're playing. We'll end up spending most of the summer trying to keep Pogba, and with the Euros happening, we won't do much. We are slow at transfers, as we all know, says Matt. And Mark, change club for your health. No, you don't do that. You don't do that. Of course you don't do that. You don't change your club, but I think we need to... Well, I think you need to do what you want to do. That's the way you should always live your life. You live your life the way you want to live it, and you have your own choices. But if you think, well, I will give you the news. I had somebody say to me, I was just laughing today. It made me laugh. I saw somebody today, because we did the video this morning, and I think it mentioned Pogba. I don't know what the morning video said. Something about Pogba might be leaving or something. And somebody said, headline this morning, Pogba might leave. Headline 2 days ago, Pogba might stay. Oh, clickbait United stands. What the bloody hell? And I said to them, do you realise it's a news show? I don't wake up in the morning and just call it the Goldbridge show. It's a news show. And when I say Pogba wants to go, I'll tell you where it's come from. And when I say Pogba might want to stay, I'll tell you where it's come from, because it's a news show. My opinion is that we will be doing a lot of news shows over the next 3 months at 10 a.m. and one morning it'll be Ronaldo, and the other it'll be Haaland, and the other it'll be Koulibaly, and it'll be Varane, and it'll be this, and it'll be that. But if it was me doing the news show every morning, I would say, fasten your seatbelts in, lower your expectations, don't get excited, and expect next season to be as challenging as this season in relation to the squad that's got to try and grind out impossible dreams like it has this year. And I will say that in relation to Solskjaer and this squad. I think what they've done this season defies what I thought they were capable of. I think we've ground out many results. I don't think the football this season has been very good at all. I think where I will 100% shout these players out and this manager out is I think they've defied expectation, because I look at some of the teams he's had to pick, some of the players he's chosen to pick, and I think, how the hell are we second in the Premier League? How have we managed that? I mean, cup football, look, quarter-final of the FA Cup, I'd expect that. Europa League quarter-final, I would expect that. But second in the league, how has that happened? And critics will say, well, Liverpool have been really shit. Chelsea, Lampard blew it, and now Tuchel's come in. If you give him a full season, we'd be third. Mourinho's been shit with what he was delivered. But I still think, come on, you know what? All right, we've won loads of games by 1 goal, but we've ground our way to where we are, and Solskjaer deserves credit for that. But you can't keep doing that. I think we all know that. I can already say to you that at the start of next season, I'll predict we won't get top 4 again. And if Ollie manages to do it again, grinding it out with these players, then fair play. But at what point is grinding it out not good enough? You know, and I think there's trouble ahead. There's trouble ahead. This summer is so pivotal for Manchester United. And if they are thinking of just not spending much money because of the challenging market, which I'm sure they are, then I think next season's going to be pretty much written off for us as ever. I don't see the progress. I don't see what we're going to do. And I don't see why Paul Pogba would stay. I'll be going to see Paul Scholes in Northampton in September for a meet and greet, so it will be interesting to hear what he has to say, says Jack Lynch. And do you see Man United end up throwing everything out the window instead of buying what they need, like a CDM or a centre-back, end up buying a player like Dybala, says Official Chich. And Ollie knows all Man United's weak spots and he gets 70 million transfer. How on earth is he bringing positivity out there? I would be depressed all day, every day, says Earth. I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer knows full well what he's going to get in the summer. I think he absolutely knows. And I think we know. This is, at the end of the day, this is fucking... This is idiotic from me. This is absolutely idiotic to be surprised. Why? What was I expecting? What were you expecting? Like, serious, what were we expecting? Like, why are we surprised? Why would we think that this football club is going to go and spend 150 million? Probably should spend more, but why would we think they're going to spend 150 million? When have they ever gone and done that? They've never done that. They've never spent 150 million net. They've never done that. So why would we think they're going to do it? Why would we think or expect they're going to spend any more than 60 to 70 million pounds net? Like, all right, we might go a little bit beyond that if we can sell a few players, but we're never going to do it. We're not that football club. We're not going to do it. And I don't know. I just think that it's sad. It's really sad that we have spent a lot of money over the last 10 years. We have spent a lot of money over the last 10 years. That doesn't mean that you don't stop spending money, by the way, but we have spent a lot of money over the last 10 years. And I compare what we've spent to Man City, and yeah, they've spent a few £100 million more, but we're not far off £1 billion, and they're not far off £1 billion. And I look at the infrastructure of what they've built and I look at what we've done and I think, oh my God, how did we let that happen? How have we done that? Because we have spent money. We've just spent it very, very badly. Mark, the problem is made most clear when we have players like Falcao, Ibra and Cavani well past their primes instead of in their primes, says Kieran. Well, this is it. I mean, look, compare us to Manchester City. They very rarely go over £60 million. They've bought loads of players for 40, 50 million. And all of those signings mainly have turned out to be good ones, whether it's De Bruyne, Gundogan, Bernardo Silva. They're very good. They've got a very good network. They've got a very good director of football, sporting director, whatever you call it. They've got a very good vision, and we haven't. Mark, at what point should we be worried about Man City in an overall perspective in relation to league titles? Will Pep stay longer like Sir Alex, says Akil? And what about swap Rice for Jesse and then buy Haaland, says Joe Harty? I don't even know how that works, Joe. You've just spent 150 million, which we haven't got. So, I don't know. United have wasted more of that money on transfers, losses on sales and ridiculous wages, says Sally. And we're all going to be disappointed in the summer. The board can never deliver what we need to compete. Bet Ed gets Sancho and nothing else, says FIFA Crazy. And we're all... Yeah, we've done that one. But the real sad news is most our fans only protest against the Glazers when it's the summer, says Yufraj. And 4 seasons without a trophy is a disgrace, says Joel Abraham. And, well, look, you know what? This says everything about Man United for me. All I'm really hoping for from this season is that Man City don't win the treble. That's pretty much all I'm bothered about. I just do not want Manchester City to win the treble because it's so important to me that we win the treble, that we retain that because it's important. So that's sad in a way. I'm hoping for another club's failure because my club can't deliver it. I mean, look, tomorrow night against Leicester, we need to win. Man City are into the semi-finals. We can't go out to Leicester. We've got to try and stop Manchester City winning the FA Cup. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is famous for winning the goal that won us the treble. You don't want to be that manager. Look, Liverpool haven't won the league for 30 years. Solskjaer becomes manager and Liverpool win the league. That treble, I never thought anyone would do. Solskjaer's the manager and Man City win the quadruple. I mean, you don't want that on your CV. You don't want that on your CV. And the FA Cup is the only way you can stop them because we can't stop them in the Champions League and we certainly can't stop them in the league or the Carabao Cup. So, massive. It's absolutely huge. Do you think Jose Mourinho will get sacked? Says Tony. I couldn't give a shit, Tony. To be honest, I really couldn't give a shit about Mourinho. Mark, when you switch screen, your mic changes, mate, goes low. That's really interesting. I've never realised that before. It does. It shouldn't do, but it does. God help us if City get Haaland. I think we need to forget about City. I think as long as City don't win the treble, that's all we can hope for. We're not good enough to stop them doing anything else. We're not. I mean, look, I was going to come on to that. I seen Mason Greenwood on the Manchester United website talking about being a striker. It's not all about goals, and this pisses me off that it's sort of become part of the story that Mason Greenwood's not scoring goals as a number 9. And I'm like, how idiotic are the media? How idiotic are some football fans that? Why would you talk about Mason Greenwood not scoring goals as a number 9? Do you not watch games of football? Do you not know football then? Because Mason Greenwood hasn't scored goals as a number 9 for Manchester United because he gets no service. Like, it's really that simple. I mean, is this the height of football analysis now, that Mason Greenwood plays at number 9 and doesn't score, so he's not a good number 9? Like, do we not watch what Manchester United do? Have we not been watching what Man United do for the whole season? Have we not seen Cavani not score goals at number 9? Or Martial not score goals at number 9? Or Rashford not score goals at number 9? Greenwood's just the latest one doing the graveyard shift. That we don't create chances for our number 9. So what are they meant to do? What's Greenwood meant to do? Run back 60 yards, take the ball off McTominay and Fred while they're playing it side to side, skip past 6 players and bang it in the top corner. That's about the best chance he's going to get. Because he ain't going to get any bloody service in that team. It's minuscule. There is not enough service for the number 9. So criticism of Mason Greenwood not scoring goals as a number 9 is a farce. It's an absolute bloody farce. I mean, I don't know. I know some people might be in a daydream when they're watching us, and maybe they even fall asleep. But I actually watch United, as do many of you with us on the watch along, and it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous to think that Mason Greenwood. I don't know why people can't analyse a game of football at the highest level. Why do we pay these subscriptions? Why do we pay the BBC TV licence fees for Match of the Day and Sky Sports when people can't analyse a game properly? Why is this not being brought up? Why did it take 6 months for the mainstream media to start talking about our centre-backs? Why have they not started talking about our midfield pivot? Why are they not talking about Manchester United's number 9 being a graveyard shift? Do they not watch the same games you do? Like, it amazes me. Absolutely amazes me. It's almost like you're watching a different game. It's almost like all I ever hear is Ollie coming out and talking about how great McTominay and Fred are, and I'm like, well, I don't think so. I don't know what they do that Mark Noble can't do. I don't know what they do that James Ward-Prowse couldn't do. I don't know what they do that Longstaff couldn't do. They basically run around a lot and break up the play, and then that's it. Job done. They don't grab hold of the ball and drive forward with it. They don't grab hold of the ball and hit a ball 40 yards into Bruno's feet and bypass the midfield quickly. So how can Mason Greenwood or Cavani or Martial ever succeed as a number 9 when the ball they get is so fucking slow? But people don't want to analyse a game of football. People look at the fact that we've not conceded a goal for about 10 games and go, oh yeah, they're doing something right. Well, yeah, we are. We're doing something right. We're putting 6 defenders behind the ball. That's what we're doing, and we're depriving our strikers of chances. If Dawson doesn't score an own goal against West Ham last week, we draw. If Pogba doesn't come on and take that chance, we draw. So we need to create more chances, and we need to buy a centre defensive midfielder. I think that's what we need to do. He's not going to come out and say McFred a shite, Mark. No, Aaron, you're absolutely spot on. I don't expect Ole Gunnar Solskjaer to come out and criticise any player. I don't expect that at all. That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is Solskjaer comes out and says it, and it's almost like, well, that must be true then. Nobody picks up on it, really, that the fact that I'm talking about Mason Greenwood here. Like, Solskjaer can't come out and say, Ollie's really happy with Mason Greenwood. He mentioned it in the press conference. But if you delve into it, why is Mason Greenwood not scoring goals for Manchester United, Ollie? Well, they'll come. That's all he can say, they'll come, because he can't actually tell you the real reason. And the real reason is we don't create enough chances. If Ollie gets us in the top 4 next season with that board, he deserves a statue. Only manager in the league with one arm tied behind their back. He's got 2 tied behind his back, NG. He's got 2. And the scary thing is, for me, is What I would say to you, because I know a lot of you don't rate Solskjaer and I know a lot of you do. We finished the season in second, right? Forget whether we win any cups. We finished the season in second, yeah? He gets a new contract. In the summer, he gets a centre-back. Maybe Milenkovic from Fiorentina. He gets Milenkovic from Fiorentina. And he gets a striker, but it's not Erling Haaland. We go into next season and we start getting bad results and he's sacked by Christmas. Whose fault is it? Is it his? Or is it the fact that he didn't get the players that he should have got again? And that's my fear going into next season, is that whether Solskjaer survives or whether we get the same sort of style of football where we're trying to grind out results again, if he doesn't get 3 quality players in the summer, then United will not progress next season to the level that we need to progress. Because we've got plenty of good attacking players coming through. Diallo's a good signing. You know, there are people like Hannibal and Shoretire who are, you know, exciting youngsters, but they're all attacking players. Like, where is the CDM? Where is the centre-back? We know we've got attacking players that can do things. We've got them already. But what we don't have is the ability to move the ball from back to front quick enough. The ability to play higher up the pitch. The ability not to the ability not to play 2 CDMs who can't play CDM. That's the progression of this football team. I find it absolutely stunning. I would love to be sat in a Manchester United transfer negotiation room where they're talking about targets. I'd love it if they all sat there and went, Haaland's the player we need. Because I'd put my hand up on behalf of everybody and say, can I just say, I think Erling Haaland's one of the best signings you could ever make. But why is he going to help us when we play with a back 6 and we don't create chances for our striker? How is that going to help us? Other than it's a big signing that supposedly says we mean business. But actually, how does that help us? If we don't create chances for Greenwood and Cavani, why are we going to suddenly create chances for Haaland? Surely you stick with Martial and Greenwood and maybe Cavani, and you build a team that creates chances before you bring in a striker to finish those chances. Because I don't care if you've got a striker that scores every single chance. If you're not going to create the chances, what does it mean? And I think that's the problem for me. I can't for the life of me understand why Manchester United are heavily linked with Erling Haaland. It makes no sense. I can't understand it. Maybe you can, but it makes no sense to me. And I'm not right. Of course I'm not right. I'm never always right. That's nobody's ever always right. But I do watch every United game. You know I do. I watch them with you. And I watch us and I'm like so defensive of Martial, Cavani, Greenwood, Rashford, whoever plays at number 9, I've always got their back. I might give them a low score, but I'll say they're getting a low score because they've got the graveyard shift. So why would I sit here and go, yeah, let's spend 100 million plus on Haaland or Kane? I don't get it. I don't get why you would want to do that. And if you did want to do that, I'm really questioning you as a coach or as a board member. I'm like, what the hell are you doing? Like, why are we buying a goal scorer? For what? Have you seen how many chances we create across the season? We don't create enough chances. How's about buying players behind the striker to get more chances created? You know, as long as the Glazers are running United, we will never win the Premier League. They are not bothered as long as we are in the top 4 and in the Champions League, says Scott Fitton. Well, I don't disagree with you, mate. I don't disagree with you. Meek says we've been without Pogba for a while, so that's obviously negatively influenced our attacking threat. But mate, you know what, mate? In one way, you're right. You saw the difference that Pogba made when he came on at the weekend. But in another way, how many times have we drawn 0-0 or not scored with Pogba in the team? Look at when we went to Anfield. We put Pogba on the wing and we still picked McFred. Like, he doesn't pick Pogba in the pivots. You know what? If Pogba's fit and you're playing him with Fred or you're playing him with McTominay, I agree, we'll create more chances. But we're putting Pogba on the wing. Pogba just becomes Bruno, becomes Rashford, becomes Greenwood. He becomes deprived of the ball because the back 6 are still there. Fred and McTominay are still going side to side. Pogba can be there on the left wing going, hello, give me the ball. And they're like, in a minute, we're playing past the ball. So I think we do create more chances with Pogba, but everybody knows that Pogba's best position is centrally. And Have we done that when Pogba's been fit? Have we always played Pogba in the pivot? No. We didn't do it at Anfield, and I think there are other occasions where we didn't do it as well. So that doesn't necessarily mean that we'll create more chances. I agree we will if we put him in the pivot. Hope everyone is enjoying the football lately. Some good stuff and fair play to Chelsea, says Liam. I don't know what Liam's on about. Mark, with everything you've said, how can you want Ronaldo back? Trust me, it would be amazing, but we need to prioritise midfielders and defenders, says Sid T. But I'd only take Ronaldo back in one situation, Sid. I wouldn't go and sign Ronaldo. I wouldn't go and spend £100 million on Ronaldo. I mean, I'm including his wages in that. I would only take Ronaldo back if Pogba wanted to go. I would swap Pogba for Ronaldo. That's the only situation I would take Ronaldo back. I'm not going to go and say, let's buy Ronaldo. Because, no, I agree. The other areas of the pitch need to be sorted out. While I agree he needs to be backed properly, but at the same time I worry he won't actually use the players he gets. Well, again, tonight, Ubermelon, Milenkovic is being mentioned for United. And, you know, we're not in for Milenkovic at the moment. We're not. I know we're not. I know it's all agent talk from Milenkovic's agent and Italian outlets. We're not in for Milenkovic. We've made no bid. We're not in for him. But it doesn't mean we won't be. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if we did go in for him because he's cheap. And the reason we're not in for Milenkovic, by the way, is because we haven't even decided what we're doing yet. International break, they're going to sit down and decide. End of March, United are going to plan their transfer strategy. You know, decent clubs will have their plans in place, probably some of them as early as December, but certainly January, February, you're looking at the summer. Man United will sit down next week. That's why we've not bid for Milenkovic, because we don't even know what we're doing yet. But I wouldn't be surprised if we did go for Milenkovic. Now, Milenkovic, to me, isn't slow. He's not slow. He's got 1 year left on his contract. He's going to be cheap. He's going to be cheaper than what his value is. You know why United might go for him? I've just explained there. This is a player with 1 year left on his contract who is going to be cheaper than what he normally is. That will attract Manchester United because he's cheaper than what he normally would be. The dangerous thing is he the right centre-back for what we need? Does he have the attributes for what we need? He's 6'5". Harry Maguire's big. Milenkovic is big. If we buy Milenkovic, is he going to play or is it going to be Donny van der Beek all over again? A bargain in a market where you get somebody cheaper than what they're worth. But will he actually be used or will he be the backup? I think if we get Milenkovic, one thing, I'm not sure he's the right profile of centre-back to be a first teamer with Maguire. Second thing, I think if we did buy him, you'd still find Lindelof and Maguire starting next week. With Milenkovic, he's not ready yet. I think if we get someone like Ollie Watkins or Bamford and a CDM, our problems would be sorted. No need to spend big on Haaland, says Mehdi. I agree with you on that one, you know. I know it would be very controversial, but I do agree with you on that one. If we swap him for Pogba, it's an even deeper hole in midfield. How's Ronaldo going to get the service, says Sid T. No, we'd have to bring a midfielder in, but what I'm saying is, what are you going to do for Pogba? Like, we're not going to get much money for Pogba, so what are you going to do? I think Pogba's got to be a swap deal, so that's why I would take Ronaldo. Risharaj says that Milenkovic is slow. He's not. You know, he's not as slow as people think. He's not as slow as people think. He reminds me a bit of Piqué at Barcelona, who's tall and deceptively quick. I don't think Milenkovic is slow. He's just... I can't imagine... I think Milenkovic and Maguire would be like, you know, giants, really. But he's not slow. He's not slow. But I don't think he's not. I don't think he complements Maguire that much. Pogba for Varane. I think we would all do that, Yuri. Yeah, I do. I think we would do that. I'm just going to check this out on Twitter, mate. I just spotted it, King Morrison. So I'm just going to check your funny clip on Twitter and see what it is. I'm a prat. Mark, my nan's faster than Maguire. Apparently Harry Maguire. I had a few drinks last night and I saw this tweet just before I went to bed. Apparently Harry Maguire is actually quite quick. And I just tweeted, I think I could beat Maguire in a sprint after 10 pints. I'm happy to have a charity sprint against Harry Maguire. We'd raise a lot of money. Harry, do it. You know, life's for living. Don't take things to heart. We love Manchester United. Both of us do. We all do. If you're not good enough, it's an entertainment business. You'll get criticised. If you play well like you have done the last few weeks, you'll get praised. That's what entertainment business is all about. Come on, let's have a charity race. We'll raise loads of money and I'll beat you in a sprint. Sell Lindelof instead of Bailly. Swap Pogba for Varane. Don't let Bailly go. He's back up for Varane, says Yuri. Maguire is so disrespected. He's not I think a lot of people, you know what, Lawrence? I think a lot of people like Harry Maguire. I like Harry Maguire. Remember when all that Greece stuff happened? We were like really behind him. Like nobody really turned on Harry Maguire, and they could have done. He just got criticised for being a bit shit up until Christmas, and ever since Christmas, he's been pretty decent. And he needed to improve, and he has improved. He gets the praise. I just think that we live in a bit of a snowflake society, don't we? Where people are like, oh, you can't disrespect. I don't think most of you have been to football grounds. I don't. Not most of you, but I mean most of you people who criticise about, oh, they're disrespected. You'd be stunned what goes on in a football ground. You'd be absolutely stunned what goes on in a football ground. If you think somebody on Twitter criticising a footballer is, oh, it's so disrespected, go into Old Trafford and watch a game of football. You'd be stunned at the stuff that gets shouted out. Absolutely. Like, there was that game that Matic had to turn to the crowd because the people were shouting at him to pass it forward. Like, it's like, I think we live in I think people think that they can dictate what goes on social media, and like if you criticise a player, you're a hater. And it's like, bloody hell, have you ever been inside Old Trafford or in a away ground or anywhere at any game? The stuff that gets shouted at play. Like I said, when I used to go to Old Trafford in like the early noughties, I used to come over quite regularly from Ireland and stuff. Ryan Giggs, one of our greatest legends, they'd be slating him because he'd lost the ball again. Because Ryan Giggs was a bit of a 50-50 player. Sometimes he'd skip past somebody, sometimes he'd try skill and he'd lose it. And people don't understand what goes on in a football ground. Like, there is genuine, anger and elation, and it's not just clap and sing, back and grin. It's not like that. It's not. Sing when you're losing, 'cause you sing when you're winning. It's not like that. It's not like that in a proper football ground, and it's definitely not like that at Old Trafford. But, for me, you never criticise the individual, you criticise the footballer. It's an entertainment business. To me, it's like, if I'm watching a comedian and I think they're shit, they'll get heckled. If I think they're great, they'll get clapped. And I think as a footballer, you are wearing the Club That I Love shirt. You are being paid a lot of money for it. And if you play shit, you should get criticised, because there's plenty of other people that could come and do your job. And if you play well, you get the praise because you're living the dream and you are doing it for us. So that's how it works, isn't it? The contrast between Brighton and Newcastle is unreal. Rather than have them up than boring park in the bus football, says Guna. Is there another match on tonight? It's just relentless, isn't it? God, no wonder I don't watch the Liga or anything else. I mean, there's just so much football. So much football. Anyway, I could talk and talk and talk. I've had my say. It's Saturday night. I'm going to go and watch a film. But let me just say, 20% off with Manscaped. This is a cracker. This one goes down there. It's waterproof. You can get 20% off with the code UnitedStand20. Links in the video description for that. And this one will do your nose. All I'll say about them, they are very, very good quality products, and I use them. And you could use them too. Link is in the video description. You get what you pay for, is what I would say. And as I said, trim the yard to make the grass look bigger. No, trim the grass to make the yard look bigger. But Thanks everyone for watching. Back in the morning, big game tomorrow, and a big shout out to Manscaped. Thanks very much for the sponsorship, and do check them out in the link in the video description because it is really good stuff. And I'm going to go and use mine in the shower now. Not really. I'll probably do it in the morning. I don't have a shower at night. I have a bath at night because it makes me relaxed. Thanks for watching. Big day. I tell you what, tomorrow is a big game, by the way, because if we don't beat Leicester, we're out the FA Cup and Man City are still in it. That's not forgivable. I don't know whether this goes through the Manchester United squad. I don't know whether this goes through the mind of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. But if you're like me, tonight I'm pissed off. I'm like, there is a football club called Manchester City that is very, very close to eclipsing what makes us the best, the treble. It was the impossible dream. How is it now a reality for Manchester City? We've got to stop them in the FA Cup. Every last bead of sweat has got to be used to stop Manchester City winning the FA Cup, because that's part of the treble. It's on our shoulders. Let's not be open for Bayern Munich in the Champions League or Chelsea or anybody else. We have got to get through tomorrow and stop Manchester City. It's in our hands. Thanks everyone for watching. Smash a like on the video. Make sure you subscribe, bottom right hand corner. And I'll see you in the morning for what's a big day for United. Thanks everyone for watching. Take care, stay safe, and thanks everyone for watching.